Good morning. Welcome to Mornings in Meridian. Thank you so much for tuning in to this, the 2 best hours of local live talk radio on this Monday, August the 7th. So glad you're out there tuned in. Roger here along with, and the house is full today. We have, of course, Mr. Rob Atkinson.
And good morning, sir.
You look like you spent the weekend in an air-conditioned home.
You darn right I did, man. What are you talking about, man?
You all up and running over there in Meehan?
We are up and running, and we are good.
All right. And of course, it's Monday. Who do we have here? None other than, he was going to be away, but now he's back. He was going to be back, but now he's away. No, I don't know. He's right here. Let's say hi to Charles Frazier.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Glad to be here.
Well, I know we thought you were going to be gone, but
I thought I was, and then I had to check that thing called a calendar, and I was like, they come in handy.
So the way that
that's
works.
why people have them.
Well, there you go. Of
It's
course.
an epiphany. Yeah. So wow.
I won't be gone until next Monday.
Yeah. Well, one of these Mondays. Anyway,
All right.
so.
You guys have a good weekend.
We did. Yeah.
All right. Good deal.
It was good.
Lots of folks downtown.
Oh, that's good news. That was, of course, Earth's Bounty.
Earth's Bounty, that was part of it. And I think there was a summer graduation from MCC. Brought some people out as well. Of course, a lot of folks out shopping, over the Liberty Shop getting school uniforms. So they come and dine with us as well. So
That's great.
yeah, it really was a good weekend. So
All right, so a good weekend downtown for businesses like restaurants. So check out Weidman's when you get down there. And we just want to say, well, it is the week that we have been talking about and waiting for, and now
What?
here it is.
What is it?
It's the
What?
first full week of school in August.
Oh, yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Or otherwise known as primary election
Oh,
day.
that. Oh, my bad.
heard of that.
That's tomorrow.
Remember.
You've been hearing a little bit about that.
Corner voting day. Corner camera voting day.
Here we go again. Wait,
7/13.
7/13.
Yeah.
Are we gonna continue the jokes after the primary?
Oh, come
You know
on,
we
man.
are.
You can't let this die.
Okay.
We're-
Can't let
We're
this
beating
die.
that dead
I
horse.
like that.
Yeah.
Dun-dun-dun.
There you go. That'll work.
We'll be here the rest of the morning. Try the meatloaf. There you go.
All right, we got to talk about our folks that helped make this show possible. And then we're going to introduce our guest for this morning. We want to say a big thank you to Jerry Purvis and Betty Purvis for operating a very fine establishment called Purvis Business Machines.
That's right. They've been doing it since 1979, so you might say they know what they're doing. They've got lease return color copiers. You can save up to 85% on those. It's almost like they're brand new, and they're only costing you 15% of what the retail value would be. Of course, they have everything else you need for your business as far as business machines goes, and connectivity is the big word for them. They will connect all of your devices to that printer, copier, scanner, and document management is a key word for them as well. Give them a call today, 601-693-COPY. Go see them at 4505 Highway 39 North, or, of course, check them out. They've got a great website, gopurvis.com, and their motto, service, not excuses, since
There you go.
1979. And I've never had an excuse from them, just service
There you
and
go.
good quality service. So they live by that.
No, I'm not sure why, but we made a lot of jokes about the coroner signs because there's a lot of people running for coroner. But there seem to be a lot of people running for, Justice Court Judge District 1, too.
It's hard to joke about the law, though.
I know what it is. We're afraid we might be in front of one of these judges one day.
Bingo. Well, I'm afraid I may be in front of the coroner, but at that point, I don't care.
Don't care at that point.
It don't matter. Right.
I
So
did-
we can offend them all we want.
I did
but,
ask
yeah.
each coroner candidate when they come on the show, I do not want you signing my death certificate. I do not want you signing my death certificate should you become coroner. But here is a candidate on our show. She is running for District 1, Justice Court Judge, and you've heard her say Joyner for Justice. It is Michelle Joyner. How are you doing, and welcome to our show.
Good morning.
I know I just happen to know that Michelle is actually a long-term fan of our show.
Yeah.
And I appreciate that very much. Thank
True
you for
story.
thank you for your for listening and the occasional text to set us straight or maybe give us some information that's helpful, but nothing ever relating to the police department, though. Anyway, that's just on the record there. Just kidding.
I like the occasional text that sets
The
us straight.
occasional text.
We need a lot of text that sets us straight, to be honest. I mean, it's pretty much a constant
Help
thing.
us out. But no, thank you for being a fan of the show. And now you have thrown a hat in the ring for this office of Justice Court Judge. Tell us why you did that.
Well, I have been working in a criminal court since 1999. So I have a lot of experience in that area. I have a bachelor's degree in criminology. And this is what I do every day. My job begins and ends in court. And, technically, since I've been in the job I'm in now for almost 24 years, I could actually retire next year, because of the amount of time I have in this job. But, I'm really too young to just retire and go to the house. So I want to take all of this experience and knowledge I've acquired and take it to the next level and get where I can do some good. And Justice Court handles all the same kind of cases we handle in municipal court. So all of the criminal cases, shoplifting, domestic violence, assault, petty larceny, any type of criminal case.
What level is petty larceny? I mean, of course, if anything's larcened from me, it's not really petty to me. But what would be considered petty larceny?
Well, petty larceny is something that would be under a certain dollar amount.
Okay.
So grand larceny would be a felony over a certain amount. So petty larceny would be a misdemeanor charge heard in a misdemeanor court like municipal court or justice court.
Are there different amounts depending on which court or just?
Well, if it's a misdemeanor, it'll be heard in municipal or justice court, and if it's a felony, it'll be heard in circuit court.
Gotcha. Okay, so that's where I get some courts all mixed up. We got municipal, justice,
right, and
circuit, and
People's court,
county court,
People's
youth court,
food court,
chancery court. Right.
I know the food court.
You know it well. Yes, we can see that. Yeah.
But anyhow, this is going to be a case where you're hearing a lot of disputes. What about between individuals, just civil cases? Are those come in justice court?
Those are in justice court, yes.
Okay.
We don't hear those in municipal court, but those do happen in justice court. So you deal in civil law in justice court. So those are things that those are disputes between parties where no criminal statute has been violated. Mm-hmm. And so those are decided by a justice court judge.
All right. Well, you've heard the arguments out there. There's qualifications listed here and there, but we were just discussing before the show that really, I guess, based on the letter of the law, any one of us would be considered eligible to be justice court judge. Is that correct?
Well, the only requirement to qualify to run for justice court judge is that you have a high school diploma or a GED and that you have lived in the county for, I think, 2 years. Mm-hmm. So, yeah, technically anyone that meets those qualifications could qualify to run for this office. The question to the voters is, what do you want? How much experience do you want in that position? When you have a felony defendant charged with a felony crime who's going to go before a justice court judge who will set that bond, who will possibly have a preliminary hearing and hear evidence and determine if that case goes to grand jury or not, how much experience and knowledge do you want on that bench? So what I'm asking, my message has been the same since the beginning of my campaign, and that is to research all of the candidates in all of the races and vote based on qualifications. So my thing is, if you're going to have someone in a position to make these kinds of decisions, you want them to have a good working knowledge of the law and a good working knowledge of the court process, because you don't want a really important case to get thrown out on a technicality. So, the voters, this is a job interview. I want people to look at our resumes, look at our qualifications, ask us questions, interview us for these jobs. So everybody that's running for office, we're all applying for jobs. You, the voters, you're the employers. So, Charles, if Charles is hiring someone for his business, he's going to look at relevant experience, relevant education. He's going to look at their past work history, and he's going to hire the most qualified person for that position. That's usually how it works.
At this point, I'll just look for a pulse, pretty much. Like, did they show up for the interview? Oh, they're there. Good, you're hired, pretty much. But
I think that person waited on me last.
Exactly right.
I think they did.
They had a pulse.
They had a pulse.
I think they had a pulse.
I think
anyway.
they did.
Yeah.
Like they were alive.
Well, I think our judicial seats need to be held to a bit higher standard.
I think you're right. Yes.
Well, you make a good point, and I think everyone in the race makes a list of their qualifications. But you're saying you've had how many years working in this environment?
This November will be 24 years.
Mm-hmm.
Wow.
So what has been your specific job duties in relation to the municipal court?
my job duties have grown exponentially over the years.
Yeah.
My primary function began as compliance. So once someone is convicted in our court, they have to see me. Once they're convicted and sentenced, they have to see me. I explain their sentence to them, make sure they understand what they're supposed to do to satisfy the requirements of the court, and I keep up with them and make sure they're doing what they're supposed to do. And if they don't, then I'm the one that, does the warrant, gets the judge to sign it, and I locate this person and have them brought in and appear before the judge to explain why they didn't do what the judge ordered them to do. So it's accountability, and that's what has to happen. So my whole job all this time has been on the end of holding people accountable once they've been convicted. So, we've been through a lot of things over the years with laws changing, with activist organizations, they've put their 2 cents worth in, and they've petitioned to have laws changed. We've had rules of criminal procedure. I was going to show you this. This is my personal copy of the Mississippi Rules of Criminal Procedure that went into effect in 2017. You can see all my sticky notes and
Basically,
you can tell I've spent a lot of time in this book. Okay.
Well, you come in my courtroom, I expect you to know procedure.
Well,
Cousin Vinny, here we go. Yeah,
right.
yeah,
Well,
okay.
this is something that I have spent a lot of time in, is this rules of criminal procedure.
Right.
Because there are a lot of hoops that you have to jump through now to get to the point where you can hold someone accountable.
Phew.
So you have to know, you want a judge who knows what those hoops are and how to get there. So that's what my job has been. That's been the primary function of my job all these years. But I also handle our inmate population. I know who we have in jail, where they're housed, what they're charged with, what their bond is. I arrange for initial appearances, preliminary hearings. I get all the major players in place, defense attorneys, prosecutors. I make sure everybody's where they need to be at the right time. And I keep up with what happens in those procedures. I'm in the courtroom during those hearings. Okay. So I also handle everybody that on the electronic monitors, all the ankle bracelet people. I also do that. So I have a whole pile of things it's gotten larger over the years.
Okay, is that adult and youth criminals? Or
No, I only handle adults.
Okay, I was
the
gonna
Juvenile
say,
Center handles the youth offenders.
I thought that was maybe a different section, but still a lot of work there. So basically, you have kind of ate, drank, slept, and kind of done this for quite some time.
Right. I get calls in the middle of the night. Now, as far as youthful offenders, I may get a phone call in the middle of the night saying, hey, we have a juvenile charged with a felony crime, and we need somewhere to house him until we can get him before the judge for an initial appearance. So, I'm tasked with finding somewhere to house that juvenile until we get to the point of a preliminary hearing. So once someone has or waives a preliminary hearing, jurisdiction changes to circuit court. But until then, it's on me to find somewhere to put that person.
Very good.
All right.
Any questions, gentlemen, for the?
I guess
the judge?
Going door to door, speaking with people. What kind of reaction are you getting out there in the public? I know District 1's a lot of ground to cover. So
District 1 is a lot of ground to cover, and I would like to apologize to anyone whose door I have not made it to, because District 1 is huge, and
Yeah.
I'm just one person. I don't have a big family. I don't have a huge team of people out knocking on doors for me, and I'm a single mom, and I'm a band mom and a scout mom, and I work full time. So, I don't have the luxury of making my own hours. I don't work for myself, so I'm at work all during the day. So while some of the other candidates have the luxury of going out and knocking on doors and putting out signs every day, I'm at work all day, every day in a courtroom. So if I haven't gotten to you, I apologize. If you want to know more about me, you can visit my website, joynerforjustice.com. I also have a Facebook page. You can also text me. My phone number is 601-781-3662. And you can text me questions. You can email me questions, joynerforjustice@gmail.com. But please contact me if you have any questions about me. But again, I apologize if I haven't made it all over the district, because really Saturdays are the only time I have to get out and knock on doors. And I was out this past Saturday and the heat index was 113 degrees. So if I looked, I had my hair in a ponytail and, so.
I'm running
water.
Hey, you.
Here's my card. Can I have a glass of water? Some Gatorade or something. I like that. All right. Again, your cell number was 601-781-3662. Is
Correct.
that right? Okay. So here, here's candidates giving their number out. That's good. Will you have time for a question on the air here?
Absolutely.
Let's take a phone call here. Good morning, caller. Welcome to our show.
Good morning, ma'am. I would like to ask you, the crime situation to a lot of people, we talk about it day in, day out. Everybody's been doing it on radio for over 30 years. And, what the problem is there's no punishment anymore that match the crime. The criminals have no fear of the justice system because of the lack of serious punishment for the crimes they commit. There's a lot of this your hands are tied on a lot of your judgments that you hand down, I guess, and the punishment that you hand down. Is our next step, is that coming from our state legislature telling you cannot punish them the way they should be punished, or is most of it federal on the justice court level? And is that where we're going to have to go to see change to get these thugs punished so they will think twice about committing this crime, and there'll be some kind of deterrent to it? And I'll hang up and listen. Thank you.
Thanks for that question. Okay, you asked
Just a short question.
Yeah, you asked several questions there, so I'm going to try and unpack everything you said. Judges' hands are not necessarily tied, and it also depends on what kind of crime you're talking about. My goal as a justice court judge is to hold people accountable on the misdemeanor level in the hopes that they never make it to the felony level. Youth court judges, I think their hand, just my personal opinion, I think youth court judges' hands are pretty tied here in this area because we have nowhere to house youthful offenders. Now, adults, those youth eventually hit 18 and become adults, and they're charged in municipal court or justice court. So when they become adults, my goal is to hold them accountable on that misdemeanor level in the hopes that they don't make it to the felony level. And this is why I say I want everyone to research all the candidates for all the positions, because so many of these positions have to work together to make things happen. So you have to have a judge that knows the rules and the hoops you have to jump through to get to the point where you can hold people accountable. There are steps that have to be taken before you can actually put someone in jail. Okay. And then you have to have a sheriff that's going to maintain a jail, keep it fully staffed, and be willing to hold misdemeanor prisoners for the length that justice court judge wants to put them there for. And in order to do that, that sheriff's going to need money, and the supervisors hold the purse strings. So you have all these positions working together. But we can hold criminals accountable. There are ways to do it. We just have to have a justice court judge that knows the steps that you have to take. Now, the justice court judge can only do what the law allows. So the laws, are written in Jackson. So you would need to address your state legislators on the actual laws they're passing as far as time that's allowed. But excuse me, a justice court judge can put someone in jail for up to 6 months on pretty much any criminal charge.
All right, we got about a minute left before the break. Anything you want to say to the voters out there, Michelle?
Again, I want everyone to research all of the candidates and vote based on qualifications. Two of the scariest things that I've heard at the beginning of this is nothing but a popularity contest, and you really don't have to know anything to be a justice court judge. So keep in mind that justice court judges sign felony warrants, they set felony bonds, they hear felony prelims, make determinations if that case goes to grand jury or not. There's a lot more to it than a lot of people realize. So please do your homework and vote based on qualifications. And decide. You're the employer. Do your research. Interview us for these jobs.
There you go, Michelle Joyner, Joyner for Justice. As we wish you the very best out there. Hydrate a lot of Gatorade and a lot of water and all the rest. We got to take a Fox News break. We'll come back. Donna Jill Johnson's going to be joining us from the circuit clerk's office to give us some tips on voting,
all right.
In
voting
the
tips.
coming primary.
Should block
But you can't stop a woman when she's out of control. Oh, man, I tell you what now, I have, I've got to be careful because we do have a female in the studio, so I'm just going to be careful what I say here.
I ain't going to say it, but you took it real.
But,
when have you ever been careful?
I will say
it's a new
that
thing.
Rodney Crowell, he's a great musician. He turned 73 years old today, so happy birthday to Rodney Crowell, and we appreciate him being out there and putting that good music out there. Yes. Yeah, you just got to let them go if they're out of control. I think we all know that.
You said it.
I'm not commenting.
That's why I said you said
smart
it.
guys.
Ground here, huh?
Mornings.
Red lightly.
You know you still got to go home, right?
Right. Yeah.
Got to be careful here. All right, it's Mornings in Meridian. It's time to really just kind of get back to the business at hand here, fellas. Of course, it's the day before our election. It's election or primary eve, I guess is the best way to put it. And we are delighted to have in the studio
Do we
with
give
us.
presents? How does that work?
Do what now?
You get presents, have a big meal tonight.
You get the present of going to vote.
Oh,
The president of going to
wait
vote.
for that one.
And we have here a candidate for District Court Judge, District 1, Michelle Joyner. So thank you for being here with us today, Michelle.
Thank y'all for having me.
And we're also going to be hearing from Donna Jill Johnson here in the near future because she's going to give us some ideas that, even every election, we always have this, or every primary, there's some misunderstandings about how you vote in different races. So we're just going to hear from her when she gives us a call in. But anyhow, we will continue our visit with Michelle Joyner, who's a candidate for District Court Judge. And we were just recapping the previous hour that the experiences that you have had in the municipal side of things, the municipal court, can translate easily over into justice court. Is that right?
Yes.
And explain more about those.
Well, in municipal court, we handle all the same types of cases that are heard in justice court. So my experience there will carry over. Most people who work at a job for any length of time, your goal is to, as you work there longer and learn more, you want to move up, you want to do better, you want to get promotions and, do more with the skills that you've acquired over time. And that's really what I'm looking to do. I've been working in a courtroom since 1999, and I'm ready to take it to the next level and get where I can do some good. We've done some really good things in municipal court, and I'd like to take some of that, carry it over to justice court. We have relationships with different agencies to be able to help people. We have relationships with MCC to help people get their GED. We have people who come through our court. As I said in the previous segment, my primary function has been compliance. Mm-hmm. And some people say, well, I can't pay my fine because I don't have a job. Well, and I can't get a job because I don't have a GED. Okay, well, I'm going to put you in touch with this person at MCC, and they have programs that will help you get your GED. And once you get your GED, they help you get into either trade school or college. We recently had a young lady who had been in the system, and she indicated she wanted to continue her education. And so we put her in touch with the right resources, and she recently graduated from the truck driving program. So now she's driving big rigs and making good money, and she has improved her life.
Fantastic.
And so when
so you have people that literally follow through with these.
Right. I mean, not everybody,
recommendations.
There are people that all they need is an opportunity to be put in touch with the correct resources. Mm-hmm. So, when you raise the bottom, the top also rises. So if we can help people get to the resources they need, we're improving that person's life. We're helping them to improve their life and get a job and make better money, support their family better. And when we do that, we improve our pool of employable people for our community. So, it's a win-win-win situation. We also have relationships with Weems Mental Health for people who need mental health resources. So, there are times when someone commits a criminal act and maybe they have a mental health issue and they're off their meds and they need to be put in touch with those resources. So we have those resources as well. Mm-hmm. So there are things that you can do to, and maybe you have a first-time offender, somebody who's never been in trouble before, and you have an opportunity to put that person in some classes, do a non-adjudication, get that charge off their record, and give them a fresh start. But then you have the people who have been committing crime for years, and I've been dealing with them for 20 years, and they thumb their nose at the law, and those are the people that jail is pretty much the only thing they understand. And then that's when you get to the point where you have to know what to do to hold them accountable. Back in I believe it's 2014, House Bill 585 passed, and that was something that the goal of it was to reduce the state's expense of housing felony inmates. But essentially all it did was make it harder to get a felony. Prior to that, if you got 3 shoplifting offenses within 7 years, that third one was a felony. And now that's no longer true.
Oh, man.
I have there are people who have 20 shoplifting offenses because you have to reach a certain threshold and have so many offenses with it. There's this fine line.
And this is what our previous caller was talking about. There's what can we do? What are the things that we can do? Because it seems like there's not much that they have the feeling that they can get away with just about anything these days.
Right. Well, what happens is they go out and continue to offend, and the judge on the misdemeanor level, you can give someone 6 months on a shoplifting charge, on a misdemeanor shoplifting charge. So if someone goes out and commits shoplifting after shoplifting after shoplifting, you can sentence them to incrementally more and more and more time in jail. And eventually they're going to get the message.
That's good news. Let's go to the phones. I know that, again, we're visiting with Michelle Joyner. She's candidate for Justice Court Judge District 1. But we have a call from another candidate right here on the not for Justice Court Judge, but
for coroner.
She's not running for coroner. She's running for the office of circuit clerk. Good morning, Donna Jill.
Well, good morning. Good morning. I'm a Monday person, a morning person, so can't beat that.
No, you can't beat that. And, of course, we, again, applaud you on the great way you run our circuit clerk's office here in Lauderdale County. And
Roger, thank you. I've got an outstanding staff. They do all the work and make me look good, and I cut my hats off to our 5 election commissioners that just do their job compared to some other counties. So my hat's off to them.
A couple of things we want to cover, Donna Jill, before tomorrow, because, well, right now you're still receiving absentee ballots. Is that correct?
Yes, we have to receive absentee ballots. A new law, we have to receive them if they're postmarked by election day. We have to accept them up to 5 days.
Okay.
So that's new. That kind of coincides with the 5 days that we have to hold out ballots if somebody fails to show their driver's license, for instance, for voter ID. We have to give them a 5-day opportunity to bring in their license to the courthouse, and of course they don't come because either their candidate won or their candidate lost. But by law we have to hold it out. But there are a lot of things, Roger, I'd like to hit on, if you'll indulge me, just to help the public understand that in Mississippi, voters are not registered by party, that your name has always been printed in the Democrat book and always printed in the Republican book for any primary election. You just have to go to the right table to make sure that you're voting who you want to. I encourage people, there's a lot of confusion on who to vote for. So please look at your sample ballot on the wall at your precinct, or you can access any of the media from our website at the county to any media. They've all posted the sample ballot.
So what you're saying is if I'm a Democrat and I want to vote on the Republican primary, I can do that?
But you're not a Democrat. You're not registered.
Right. Okay.
California and Florida, you have to register by party and you have to vote a straight ticket. In Mississippi, you decide in a primary which table you want to go to.
Okay.
What confuses people, I think, is if you vote, let's say you vote Democrat tomorrow, and there is a runoff 3 weeks later, you cannot vote in the Republican runoff because that's considered the same election. So I think that's what confuses people. In November, you vote any way you want to. You can vote for a Democrat, a Republican, an independent, whatever. So that's, I think the runoff is where it confuses.
But Rob, you were talking to an election commissioner or someone who's been in the election commission, and they were talking about this idea of people wanting to vote in the Republican primary, but not.
Yeah, Ms. Donna Jill, a lot of people I think that are voting absentee, I think whenever they go to vote, I'm glad you're clarifying the process because a lot of folks don't understand it because they're like, well, I want to vote in this sheriff's race, but they get a Democratic ballot. But they're like, I've always voted Democrat, but I don't want to vote on the sheriff's race. And, of course, that's on the Republican.
They have to get a Republican.
Exactly.
But same thing with coroner.
Yeah.
I've had several people that said, I want a Democrat ballot, and they'd come back to the counter and they'd say, the person I'm interested in for coroner is not on here. And they'd name them, and I said, well, that's a Republican ballot. So then they would have to vote a Republican ballot, too.
Right.
Other things that I want to mention is that why is there a write-in space? By law, a write-in space has always been on every ballot, no matter what kind of voting device you have, for 100 years. The write-in space is, for instance, like we had a circuit clerk that unfortunately passed away 4 weeks ago. And so the deadline had passed for people to qualify. So there's a write-in space, for that, for that county.
What county was that, if you don't mind me asking?
No, that's in Tipple.
Oh, okay.
And that's in Tipple, and his wife is, they appointed her to fulfill his thing, and she is a candidate, and several other people are.
How about that?
That's what the write-in space is legally for, like if somebody passes away. I've always used it as a judge, a circuit judge passed away in Jones County several years ago, 2 weeks before the election. And that's the purpose. When people write in their own name or Tarzan or Donald Duck, they think it's cute and funny, and it doesn't count. So just skip it.
And it ties up the staff at the circuit clerk's office or the election commission.
It ties up the system when it goes to process. It does. Can you skip something on your ballot? Yes. I hope you're educated on every candidate, but you can skip something. Do unopposed candidates want your vote? Of course they do. But you can skip that. We do not have a problem with voter ID in Mississippi, thank goodness. Almost everybody's got their driver's license. It's usually when somebody runs out to their precinct and they left their driver's license at the office, and that's the example I gave you where they've got 5 days. Voter registration cards. We were going to
before we go to voter registration cards, Don and Jill, we have our driver's license, which is a state provided ID. But are there other IDs that are acceptable?
It's government issued, like your passport, your gun permit, any school that's credited. You can, but you can't be Winn-Dixie or Rush Hospital. It can't be like that. It's got to be government issued.
Like if you have a student ID or something.
Yes,
school
it's
official.
government issued.
Yeah, all right. Government issued ID, not points card for Sam's. Okay, gotcha.
Right, or out-of-state IDs, driver's license acceptable, certainly. Definitely. Or expired driver's license, they can be accepted for up until 10 years before it expires. Like my mother, once she quit driving, she had that voter ID, but it was good for 10 years. You don't have to have your voter registration card. It often helps the poll workers, too. Initially, like I said, Roger, we were going to mail out, over 40,000 voter registration cards like we did 10 years ago, so everybody would have a new card. But, the post office has increased postage 3 times, to save the taxpayers' money, we had to back up and punt, and we just decided to mail out the 8 precinct changes to those voters, and anybody that had a line change from redistricting, whether it was the Senate, the House, Justice Court, Constable, whatever. So we only mailed out about 14,000 instead of. Your card does not expire. The only time it expires is if you move, because every time your pillow changes, we have to know it. Do not look at your city ward location. The city is in the middle of their own redistricting for the mayor's race in 2 years, so look at your county precinct location, which is at the top right-hand corner. That's telling you where to go vote tomorrow. Polls are open from 8 a.m. until 8 p.m. I just voting in Mississippi.
Donna Jill, I just switched from a Bed Bath & Beyond pillow to a My Pillow, so my pillow has changed, but it's in the same house.
Well, and I use it facetiously, but you made a good point.
Fair enough. Yeah.
I do like that. I like that if your pillow changes. I like that. Yeah. But anyway,
does Mississippi have early voting? No, we do not have early voting.
We don't have it.
We only have absentee voting for legal reasons, and that's why 8 weeks ago we started doing press releases after press release with the media saying, look at your calendar, see what you've got going on August the 8th. And that's my ex-husband's birthday, so I can remember that August 8th has been embedded in my brain for quite a while. What is the best way to vote? Nothing, absolutely nothing surpasses going to the precinct level, voting in person. And that's because Lauderdale County has gone back to paper ballots with an audit trail. All 82 counties are now mandated beginning this election to have paper ballots. And thanks to Jeff Tate, with his foreseeing that those touch screens were going by the wayside, and thank goodness he was able to present that when he was an election commissioner to the Board of Supervisors, who acknowledged and recognized that we did. So Lauderdale County was way ahead of the rest of the state in going back to paper ballots. And if you remember, we used to have paper ballots.
Yeah, I like coloring in the circle just like we did in our achievement test in school. It was very nice.
When Eric Clark got elected, he made us give up our paper ballots. He made us give up our wonderful red, white, and blue voter registration cards. They were thick textured like a credit card, not like these little paper things that wear out in your wallet. And he forced us into the touch screen. So we were thrilled, to go back to the paper ballots.
Well,
Kind of convicted felon vote. Have you seen what's happened this week with the judge overruling, the 23 disenfranchising crimes that we had? So that's going to be in the courts. That'll be interesting, to see how that plays out.
But felons cannot vote in this primary.
Right.
Okay.
It's 23 disenfranchising crimes, just certain crimes like if you've got somebody convicted of felony DUI or drugs, those people can vote.
There you go. Donna Jill Johnson, I tell you what, we appreciate the work you do down there. Thanks for clarifying some of these things for us.
Well, I appreciate y'all getting the word out, Roger, and always educating the public on this. And I hope we have a great turnout tomorrow from 7 to 7.
I hope so, too. Thank you so much for your time. We're going to take a quick break, come back, and finish our interview with Michelle Joyner, and just stay with us. Don't go anywhere. you believe he went from Rodney Crowell to Iron Maiden?
I can.
Mornings in Meridian. That's it. Bruce Dickinson, 65 years old today. Happy birthday if today is your birthday. We're glad you're out there and with us here. Michelle Joyner is candidate for District 1, Justice Court Judge. And, of course, in the previous conversation, you heard about voting, people going to their different polls. You have any recommendations for people going out to the polls and voting?
I do. Research all the candidates. Make sure you know who you're voting for and what their qualifications are. Small town politics is tough because everyone knows everyone else. I personally know at least 2 of the other candidates in my own race, and I think the world of them. So it's tough to, know so many people, and you want to vote for people because you know them and you like them. But at the end of the day, you've got to stop and think, who's the best person for this job? Who is the most qualified? Who has the most experience, relevant experience? I want to remind everybody to just do their research. And, just because you've had somebody's name in your face all these months because there are a gazillion signs out, Randy Carroll, CEO of EMEPA, wrote a really good article in Mississippi Today a couple of months ago called Season of Signs, where he said, what does a candidate's sign really mean other than they want the job? It doesn't tell you anything about their qualifications. It just means they want the job. So really research the candidates. Another thing, if I'm elected to Justice Court Judge, this is going to be my only job. I mean, court's been what I do for the last almost 24 years. I don't have any other jobs. I don't own any businesses.
You say you would retire from the city?
Well, no, it actually, I would just kind of move to a different type of job. Mm-hmm. So, I mean, I'm too young to retire. Yeah. I could retire next year, but I'm too young to retire.
Yeah.
I mean, I could, but I don't want to. Like Charles, you own a business. How many employees do you have?
85.
You have 85 employees. That's automatically 85 cases that you would have to recuse yourself from if any of those people had a matter in front of you in court. So that puts you in a tough position. So, and then you have former employers, suppliers, your accountant, all those people. Judges are required to disclose any connections they have to anybody appearing before them in a matter in their court. Mm-hmm. So I wouldn't have any of those conflicts because this is what I do every day. This is all I do.
There you go. We have a caller on the line. You have a question for the candidate, caller.
No, I just have a statement. You cover up all the names. You look at the qualifications, and I believe Stella's the most qualified, and she's the only one I don't have her son in my yard. So
you must be thinking about a corner. There you go. Talking about the corner race. We're talking with Michelle Joyner with District for Justice Court Judge.
Yeah,
yes,
but she's the most qualified, and I don't have her sign.
Well,
she never JB or her mom never brought me
okay,
a sign,
okay,
so
I got you.
I'm sorry.
That's all right.
It's early in the morning.
Well, like I said, I apologized earlier to everyone whose door I wasn't able to knock on because I'm just one person.
Well, that's no apology.
And I just, I also am self-funded. Two things I said I wasn't going to do in this campaign was go into debt or ask my parents for any money.
Oh, you should have asked them for money now.
Oh, now. Well, I'm a single mom and I'm a civil servant, and I've been a civil servant for almost 24 years. So, I don't have the money for, tons of billboards and a gazillion signs. Yeah. So I did what I could. I've got some signs out.
You did wonderful, and I never did get a sign. I got a bunch of them in my yard, as everybody knows.
Everybody likes to put them in Freddie's yard.
I was about to say, this must be Freddie.
This is Freddie.
This must be Freddie.
But, I never got one, but that doesn't mean I'm not voting for you, and I wish you the best of luck. And
well, thank you. I appreciate that.
Good people, but I think you are the most qualified.
Well, thank you. I appreciate that.
All right.
Make up some money for her while you're there.
Thank you for the phone call, sir.
Goodbye.
Goodbye. All right. We have to conclude our interview, but any closing remarks, Ms. Joyner?
Please research the candidates, vote for qualifications in all the races, not just mine, but all of the races. If you want to know more about me, please check out joynerforjustice.com. Email me, call me, whatever, if you have any questions for me. And please vote. Get out and vote. This is very important. Vote in the primary and vote if there's a runoff. Just get out and vote. Thank you.
There you go. All right, we're going to join Fox News in progress, and when we come back, we'll have challenger Nick Lisi here on the show here.
Hospital. Fox's Eben Brown to Wild.
Welcome back to Mornings in Meridian, the 2 best hours of local live talk radio right here in East Mississippi, West Alabama. Roger B. and we all three are here because we did not win the Mega Millions jackpot this weekend.
Oh, I forgot to tell. Oh,
Say hi.
right.
Say hi to Rob Atkinson.
If that would have happened, this chair would have been empty.
I believe it. I believe
Hey,
it.
Rob.
Where'd he go?
I'd have been calling him.
Yeah.
Hey, buddy. Hey, best friend.
Yeah, that's right.
I just bought your restaurant.
Great.
Thank you, best friend.
yeah.
Now he's really a best friend.
Yeah.
Oh, my goodness. But look at that, $1.5 billion. Yes, $1 billion. Anyway, so that's up for grabs. Anyway, we're glad you're out there, and we're going to continue down candidate alley here today. We're going to be visiting just shortly with Justice Court Judge District 1 candidate Nick Lisi. But first, we want to make sure that you cast your vote for Jeffrey Wilson.
That's right, Jeffrey Wilson, State Farm. Now, here's the deal. So you can combine State Farm, auto, and home insurance. You can save an average of $889.
Wow.
It's not $1.5 billion, but it's not shabby. And, of course, State Farm agent Jeffrey Wilson is ready to help you combine home and auto and save in Meridian. Give him a call today, 601-483-8253. And, of course, everybody knows that when you've got a claim, you get that car accident, tree falls on your house, anything like that happens, you want to have access to your insurance agent. And Jeffrey Wilson is very accessible. I mean, we see him all over town. He's a great guy. So it's important that you know your agent personally. And Jeffrey Wilson's willing to sit down with you once, a couple times a year, talk about your insurance needs, but also get to know you.
Yes.
He'll give you his cell phone number. You can call him anytime during the night. He's probably cringing as I say that, but no, he knows.
I would be cringing.
Really, that's the case, though. And he's going to answer the phone, and he's going to manage that claim that you have. So give him a call today. Great guy. We see him all over town. As I said, he's involved in all kinds of civic organizations. 601-483-8253. Jeffrey Wilson, State Farm. Of course, he's at 2401 Highway 39 North. Go visit him. Just stop in, get a cup of coffee, say hey.
Right there near where they're doing all the little intersection changes on 39.
Isn't that fun?
This is going to be interesting. Yes, no more just kind of zooming across 39 anymore.
Which means there's going to be zooming U-turns on 39 now.
right.
Have they thought about that?
Yeah.
But anyway, it's a whole different issue.
Whole different issue. Well, one issue is tomorrow's primary election day, August 8th, and here's another person who would like your vote. Mr. Nick Lisi, welcome to our show.
Happy Monday.
That is
Happy Monday.
Those words have never been uttered before.
I was walking out there and he said that to me. I was like, it's Happy Monday. I hadn't heard that in a while.
But not going to be
No such
anything
thing.
like your Wednesday, though.
Oh no. But look, I start getting up on. I get up about 4:30 in the morning and start lying to myself about how good a day it is. By about this time of the day, I start believing it.
Yeah, right. There you go.
It's easy
Okay.
to say, by this
Convinced.
point.
Right. It's going to be great. 4 cups of coffee later.
Yeah.
Fantastic.
Well, we just heard from one of your many challengers. We have made jokes about the coroner race, about so many people entering that, but we haven't made so many jokes about the justice court race.
Well, I'll be honest, Roger. I think I filled out the wrong paperwork. I thought I was filling out the coroner paperwork, and I just said, well, heck, okay, we'll roll with this one then,
Whoops.
He's jumping in with us.
We keep saying we don't want to make fun of these folks because what if we got to appear before them?
That's
one
the
day?
judges. Yeah, or the
Exactly.
supervisors. We don't do that.
Yeah.
Or the sheriff, for that matter.
Remember that comment you made on the radio? There you go. That joke you thought
And
was
the
funny?
and the gavel slams. Boom.
Guilty.
Yeah. So tell us a little bit about the why you want voters to consider Nick Lisi to be the judge for District Court 1, District Court Judge 1.
Look, I've been serving my family's been serving the citizens of Lauderdale County now for 47 years, and I'm asking the citizens of Lauderdale County to give me that same opportunity in a different realm of justice court. We own the Subway sandwich shops here in town and the surrounding counties. We own Nick and Al's New York Style Pizzeria as well. I'm half owner of Tate's Fireworks. I'm half owner of Pinch and Tails Crawfish. I do a bunch of things, and I say that to say two things. That I want to show that I'm invested in Lauderdale County. I don't have a plan B if Lauderdale County keeps going in the wrong direction. I love Lauderdale County. And I say that to say I've got about 220 employees on any given day if they all show up. And Charles, you can verify that doesn't happen very often. But if those 220 employees come in contact, if they show up, they come in contact with about 1,200 people a day. And with that much human interaction, you all guys all know disputes are going to arise. Not a few times a day, many times a day. And unfortunately, I see personal disputes on a regular basis, misdemeanor disputes on a regular basis, and felony disputes on a regular basis within my own company. I've been appearing before Justice Court my entire life. Fortunately, on the right side of Justice Court, somebody stole from me or somebody, in that capacity. I know that capacity. I've also been job shadowing for 11 months as of Monday. I've been doing a couple days a week, and we've got some great judges, Lauderdale County. I don't know if everybody's aware of how good of the judges we've got. They're good guys. They've taken me under the wing, let me poke them, prod them, ask all the questions, and been more than helpful to let me get the knowledge I need.
I don't know. I'm never going to poke or prod a judge. No, I don't think I would do that. Not at all. But no, Sal, you said and I hear you say for 11 months?
Yes, sir.
You've been appearing in the court just
Yes,
to kind of see.
Yes, sir. Just to get that job experience on the other side of the bench.
Mm-hmm.
I've sat with attorneys. Attorneys let me sit out there and see, because what I think I bring more than any other candidate to this is the ability to be completely fair and unbiased when you come through there. In business, I only operate off the facts. It doesn't matter if you've been with me 20 years or 2 weeks. Right is right, wrong is wrong. And that's what we in business and the private sector, we're required to operate off the facts, and that's what I think I bring to the table.
Interesting. So, of course, then you are aware of the different types of cases that come before that court. So give our listeners a little example of the variety of things that come before that court.
Absolutely. You have a lot of civil disputes, and that's just, Roger, I don't think that you gave me the right amount of airtime, so I'm going to go take you to court. Or your mechanic didn't,
check that clock, right?
Check your clocks.
Okay, please go ahead.
It's things like that. Your mechanic might, any kind of small civil, nothing to do with criminal, just dispute.
My neighbor put up a fence and it's on my property. And
trespassing,
so,
all kinds of different things. But you do a lot of civil. That's a big portion of the job. You also do criminal. You see a lot of things in that. The biggest thing you see, I would say, is DUI. The most surprising thing that I've learned, because I've been in justice court several times, but what I've not been in is on the criminal side. Mm-hmm. So that's what I make a point to be at. And I've learned a ton at the DUI, especially on the DUI, because I really just thought it'd be a good old-fashioned DUI is what comes through justice court, but now it is more than half is DUI other. And that I was shocked, I guess.
Now, other being
that.
other narcotics and substances, not alcohol.
Yeah, and I'll be honest, what I see more than anything is prescription. I don't even know, that people, it's not necessarily that they were out to do bad. They took a prescription that they might not have known affected them in a way that would impair their driving. It's both ways, but I learned a lot by that. I really thought it'd be more just a good old-fashioned DUI as opposed to what it is now.
There you have it. So there's an example of some of the cases that come before the court. And, of course, you're saying that you, Nick Lisi, are uniquely qualified to do this because of the fact that you have been shadowing the job for months now, almost a year.
Yes, sir.
And you've experienced within your employ people who encounter these type of cases and have to go to court and such.
Absolutely. And I'll tell you what I see on the criminal side. My family is affected by crime on I hate to say monthly basis, but it's rare that we don't get broke into or something go on. So we are personally affected by it on a regular basis, and I want to do what I can do to make a difference for Lauderdale County because it's definitely doable. If I'm fortunate enough to get this position, I want to be the resistance to this crime to keep going that way. And I know that these big cases don't come before Justice Court, but what I love about Justice Court the most, you see a ton of 18, 20, 25-year-olds that if you can get to these young individuals, and that's my passion, is to get to this next generation, because if we don't get these next generation on the right track, we're lost. But there's a ton that come through there, and there's one judge, and I'm not allowed to say him by name. He does it the best, in my opinion. He's the harshest sentencing judge, and that tough love just works. I mean, that's just, it works.
Well, before you start judgment against me, I was told I could take the cup and get an extra serving of drink. I could get free refills. Now I was told that. Now I don't know if that's your policy or not, but I thought I could get a free refill.
We'll have to settle it in court. I don't know.
Well, Nick, let's be honest. A lot of these crimes that are happening at your business businesses, are these juveniles for the most part?
Oh, it's a variety, but it
Variety.
is. It's and I say juveniles. It might be your teenagers, your young 20 people that are still moldable if you can get to them. And what this judge does that is different than every other judge, he's harsh as sentencing one, in my opinion. But he gets their names, he gets their phone numbers, and every 2 to 3 weeks he follows up with them. Hey, you need help getting a job. That goes a long way because the only way to truly change people is to penetrate that heart. If we don't penetrate their heart, we're spinning wheels a lot of times. And this guy calls, hey, you got it. You need help getting a job. Are you going to your courses? Are you doing everything? And out of all the judges, he gets the most knocks on his door. People say, hey, I've been sober for a year. Thanks, Judge. You did, because tough love's worked. And I'm a product of tough love. All you guys know Gus Lisi.
No, don't know him.
And look,
Never heard of him.
Never heard.
Look, this young man.
that quiet little fellow.
Oh, he
yeah,
never
yeah.
says
Never
a,
says
he
a
never
word,
says
right.
a word.
Kind of a quiet Italian fellow that
Reserved. Yeah.
I think I think I know who you're talking about.
Look, knocking on doors, we have been through the entire district twice, some of it 3 times. And I always go because basically the way we did it, Gus hit the street one time, and if he hit it last time, I'm hitting it this second pass through. And always knowing that Gus hit it, I said, look, ma'am, sir, I'm just here to make sure. My dad's real shy. I wanted to make sure he talked to you and treated you right.
How long did it
Told
take
us-
him to get through a street?
Well, look, the longest, I'll
2
tell you
weeks.
this.
2 weeks.
And this was about 3 weeks ago. We were, we got Live 360 because I want to know where he's at. And I want to be able to manage his time because if Gus has one shortcoming in his time management, he was at a house for an hour and 42 minutes.
Good Lord.
So I go to the house
Some
thinking
sweet
something's
tea
wrong.
and- yeah.
I knock on the door. He's eating with him. He's like,
course.
oh my God, I'm sorry. They're planning a trip to Italy, But we've really enjoyed going door to door. And I tell you what I have learned most, guys, going door to door, what I hear the most from, I don't care if you're a Democrat, Republican, Independent, black, white, green, makes no difference. Everybody wants to feel safe. That is what I hear. I mean, yes, crime, but everybody wants to feel safe. And I think if we get to these folks in justice court at a young age, we get to them, they don't get on that hamster wheel of crime where they become felons and gangbangers and continue on. And that's my goal if I'm fortunate enough to win it.
All right, we're visiting with Nick Lisi, candidate for Justice Court Judge District 1. But we want to make sure that you feel safe by making sure you have all the right equipment for operate your truck, car, or just to kind of keep anything just as simple as keep gas around the house. They have some great gas cans down there at Trucker Supply.
That and so much more.
That's
it is
right.
your one-stop shop for all your tools. They've got Canipix tools like channel locks on steroids.
I used some this weekend.
Really?
They're very nice.
Okay, I bet they are. A full room of Milwaukee tools. Everything they make, made right here in the state of Mississippi. And, of course, Yeti. If you like to keep things cool, which everybody does, I bet Nick's got a Yeti cooler in the back of his truck as he's going around all these houses, keeping his stuff cold. And that's exactly what they do. Of course, they've got Yeti coolers, lunch boxes, dog dishes, Yeti mugs, cups, you name it. They've got it, even parts for all of those Yeti products that are out there. And, of course, they've got hot seat pressure washers, too. Best pressure washers made. And, Roger, I know you've got one, and you use it all the time because Debbie tells you to go clean that. So,
Well,
anyway.
I don't use it all the time,
Okay,
but it's
sometimes
there,
you do.
and I will be using it.
I'll bet.
Yeah.
Right. Anyway, Trucker Supply, 519 Highway 19 South. Go see them. Got a great website, too, truckersupply.com.
All right. Mornings in Meridian. We're glad you're out there. Of course, we continue our interview with Nick Lisi.
Nick, you said going around, everybody wants to feel safe. I mean, have you talked to people out in the district that have been affected directly by crime? I know that District 1, there's been some crime out there, as reported lately, been some shootings and whatnot. But what are folks want to feel safe, but some stories you could share when you visit with those folks?
Absolutely. I've sat down with 2 widowed women with gunshots in their window where we're sitting down in the house talking.
Jeez.
And that is tough. And these people, they're stuck where they're at, for whatever reason, they can't get out. And they're good people. And they're afraid and they want to feel safe. And I think that's just the basic act of government, law enforcement. We want everybody to feel safe. I think that's the goal. And it's truly it's scary. I was out several weeks ago when a shooting broke out 6 streets over, where I was knocking on doors.
Wow.
And the sad fact is, people react like it's just another day. The lady didn't even say come. Like, she's like, go on. And it was a big. I think the shooting ended up being on 30th Avenue or 30th Street. I can't remember.
Jeez.
But it's tough out there, and I think with this election, with the sheriff's race and all this, I think the vote is gonna be up this year because I feel like it's they've got a lot to vote on and want to let their voice be heard.
Very good.
Well, we have you have the idea that the crime is out there, but we realize there's only certain levels of crime that you would be dealing with as a district court judge. But it sounds like you would be one who would not be afraid to apply the fullest measure of the law in a settlement.
Absolutely, and instead of settlement, and I tell you, justice court, you see lots of things. You're allowed to actually, depending on the crime, you're allowed to put up to a year in jail, 1 year. Now, most of them are 6 months, 3 months, but depending on the crime, you're allowed to put somebody in jail for up to a year. Again, tough love works. It works. And again, that judge I told you about, that's what he does, but he cares. I think that combination of tough loving and caring is a way to get that next generation, because I'm telling you guys, I'm passionate about it. I see it in my businesses. Most people nowadays are not blessed with a father and a mother like I had to keep me on the right track.
Sure.
Gus Lisi, if I got off on the wrong track, he whipped me onto the right track. He didn't take me to counseling. We didn't discuss it. We didn't talk about it. He whipped me on the right track. I brought him to school one day in the 4th grade for talking of all thing a Lisi might do. And he come to that school. They put me outside, and it happened at 10 o'clock in the morning. I asked them, I said, guys, can we just call him at 1? And they said, no, why? I said, it's lunch rush. It's going to be bad either way. But if he has to come out of the lunch rush, it's really going to be bad. They sit me outside of that class. He comes, it's Calvary Christian School. I can shut my eyes and still see it. It's so traumatic. He's coming down that hall, and he doesn't ask me, son, tell me your side of the story. He doesn't say any of that. He jerks me up out of the desk, throws the door open to the classroom, takes me to the front of the classroom, and proceeds to beat the pulp out of me in front of the teacher and everybody. You'd go to jail for that these days. But you know how many times I went to school? I brought him to school? That time.
That one time.
Because there was consequences. And that's what we've got to instill. There's got to be a way that we instill that in these people.
So is part of your plan to bring judgment against your father in this as a justice court?
Revenge. That's right.
If fortunate enough to get elected, he don't know he's helping me knock on doors, but this is the real plan.
This is the real plan.
Mornings. Hey, a little warning there. You kind of see what Dad's been through there.
Talking school, I wouldn't.
You're hearing all this, right?
But you look and see, as hard as Gus is, having grandkids, he's such a wuss. It's like something's happened to him.
That's what happened. As a grandparent, there's two things. We're old trying to get to heaven, and we want revenge on our kids. So
right.
I still
two-prong attack.
That's right.
I still tell Gus, I said, what happened to you? He said, I don't know, Nick. It's like I love him more than I love you. I don't know.
Mornings in Meridian. Let's take a phone call. You have a question for our candidate caller?
Yes. Talking about crime. If you become a judge, would you slap them on the wrist like they do it now, or wouldn't you put them in jail for that year? You say you could put them in jail for a year. Would you put them in jail for a year? Would you slap them on the wrist?
In other words, slap them on the wrist or put them in jail. All right, thank you, caller. Appreciate that.
It really just depends on the crime. Full disclosure, if somebody comes through court that has never been in trouble a day in their life, I'm going to do anything and everything to help them, because I think everybody, especially as a young adult, has been in trouble a time or two or should have been in trouble a time or two. I think everybody falls into that category. But on the other hand, I make jokes with some of these people. I said, do you have some kind of loyalty reward program here at the courthouse? Because it seems like you have people that been coming in and out of there as often as they come to Subway to eat. It's just their monthly routine. So with those repeat offenders, absolutely, I would do the full extent of the law. If that's a possibility of a year, I would do that. Because again, tough love just works, and we've got to instill consequences. If they know that when they come through Nick Lisi's court, there's going to be consequences, I hope they decide not to come. And I want them to see me at Subway or Nick and Al's, not through court. Yeah. And it's sadly enough, I know people by name now from job shadowing that I didn't know before, just because they're so often through court,
Just a suggestion, one of those nice Subway trays in court would be nice for those attending.
I think so, right.
Just say.
Because it sounds like to me, if you can get your point across at that level,
yes,
and make it, as stiff as you can, maybe that'll filter down. Like, hey, we don't want to go to that next level.
Go ahead. I'm sorry.
Oh, and I was just going to say that in the way that I conduct my business, I'm sure you do too, is that you don't let the small things slide. Because once you let the small things slide, the bigger things slide as well, and or at least the bigger things. And so if you see somebody, taking something they shouldn't, oh, that's fine. You can take that, but don't take a steak, but take a handful of French fries or whatever that's going to be. No, you got to stop it, nip it in the bud, and I think that also follows true with crime.
It is, and it's just in general in life, and that's the exact same rule we got at Subway, Nick and Al's. Take care of the problem while it's small, where it doesn't become a big problem. The same thing. If we can get to these folks, I'm an eternal optimist. I'm not a negative person. If we can figure out how to get to these young adults before they get on this hamster wheel of crime and become felons and gangbangers, we've got a chance. But you've got to penetrate that heart with it. If I'm fortunate enough to get it, I want to do just like that judge did. I talked to a justice court judge in another county, and this is what this young man does. And he's a younger judge. He lets them sit in the holding tank a little while. Because you don't have to set a bond today. He lets them sit in there a little while, and his thought process behind it is they get to hear what goes on in that jail. And he especially does that with the young adults. And he said, he lets them hear what's going on behind those doors and make them think, do I really want to, is this really the lifestyle I want to lead, or do I want to get on the right track? And I like that. I like that. And again, it's for their own good.
There you go. I get you. That sounds interesting. Well, I tell you what, this is also for your own good, and we'll finish up the interview in just a second. But first, there's a good judge down there on Highway 39, right there at Premier Paint and Body Shop, because Danny Shelton and his staff, they can take a look at your damaged automobile, and they can produce a very good judgment of what it's going to take to make that almost like new, or just like new, because they have a nearly 100 years combined experience making sure these vehicles are restored.
That's right, and no job is too small or too large for them. Of course, there's auto body repair and painting, automotive glass replacement. They will give you a free estimate, and they'll work with your insurance company, and all of their work has a lifetime warranty. Go check them out right next to Johnson Dodge on Highway 39 North, open 8 to 5 Monday through Friday. Premier Paint and Body, their number, 601-482-PAINT. That's easy to remember, 601-482-PAINT.
I will be visiting them this afternoon.
Oh, you think you're going to have an accident?
Not for me.
I was about to say, what happened?
Or I'll be this morning. It's a vehicle of somebody I love dearly and near and dear. And
Debbie
so,
crashed.
No.
Okay.
It's somebody else.
Was there another?
Yeah, it's just we're gonna take a vehicle to them. Let's put it that way.
Excellent. Well, there's not a better place to take it.
We know right where to go.
Yes, you do.
All right, and that'll happen today. In the meantime, we will need to finish up our interview with Nick Lisi. Any closing remarks? Any things you'd like to tell our listeners before we let you go this morning?
Look, guys. Again, I want to ask you for your vote on August 8th. And look, I have the knowledge, I have the experience, the real world experience, and I have, most importantly, the motivation to take care of this problem of crime. Again, I think it can be done in a justice court capacity before it comes. I understand these big crimes don't come before justice court, but to me, this is being retroactive to take care of the issue before it becomes an issue. And again, I'm invested in Lauderdale County. I don't have a plan B if Lauderdale County continues to go in the direction it's going. I'm not here for a salary. I have no idea what the pay is for this position. I'm not here for a bump in my state retirement. I'm here because I love Lauderdale County. And again, on August 8th, I'd appreciate you voting for Nick Lisi. And remember, vote Republican, vote Nick Lisi on August 8th.
All right, Nick Lisi, thank you so much for being here. And also the next generation. Thank you for kind of being here and helping Dad out there. Campaign manager back there.
There you go.
We're going to take a break, come back, we'll finish up the show, and I want to go back and kind of review some of the things Donna Jill shared with us earlier in the first hour.
Yeah, we do need to do that,
And we'll be right back. Stay with us. Skaggs, put it down there for us. Ah, yes. And it's so great when you hear these songs to just to know that you were live while he performed this very number on the stage at the MSU Riley Center. And it's just good to have those memories.
That's a good one.
That's a good one there. Of course, you can hear Ricky Skaggs on our sister station, which is 105.7.
The legend.
That's the one, Rob. Hey, welcome back. It's Mornings in Meridian. I'm just playing some upbeat music because we're almost past all the politics.
Yeah, past the first stage. Let's just remember that.
Well, I'm happy to announce.
Let's hear it.
That was our last candidate to have an interview for this process.
For
the primary.
Runoff is 28.
Could be a different story.
Oh boy.
Oh, you won't have any more you won't have any more candidates on?
Not in studio.
Oh,
Not between today and tomorrow.
Not sure.
Yeah, we are going to throw a little invite out there if candidates. I know they're going to be out there probably doing their last minute push tomorrow. If they want to call up the show for just a quick second, they can do that. Sure. Of course, our number's 485-9191. I think a few of them will probably do that. So
I hate it, fellas, but I'm going to be away from the studio tomorrow, and you guys have got the great privilege of being here on Election Day. I appreciate that.
We got this.
He playing that one, didn't he?
We got this.
I ain't coming in.
the most pivotal day, most pivotal time, or the day after. Y'all will have the election follow up as well.
Yeah, we'll have the election follow up, and tomorrow I think we're probably going to spend a lot of time on each individual race, just kind of talking about each candidate, and maybe just open up the phone lines, let you the voters out there kind of tell us how things look, because a lot of people like to do the early voting in the morning and get out there and vote before it gets to be scalding hot, and see how the precincts are looking out there early tomorrow morning. So because when we get on the air at 7, polls will be opening up at 7. So
they open at 7 or 8. I thought Donna Jill said 8, but okay.
She made a mistake. It's open at 7
I thought it was
o'clock.
7 to 7. She said 8 to 8, but okay.
7 to 7.
Are you correcting Donna Jill? Just to
No. I'm correcting you.
No.
Well, jury duty's looking pretty good for you.
Not at all.
Jury duty's looking good.
Yeah.
7 o'clock, the polls open. So get out there and cast your votes.
It'll be about 110 degrees at 7, 8.
Jeez.
So, yeah.
Boy, I tell you what, it's been a scorcher, no question about it. It's funny to see these candidates come in with these big red sunburns and suntans and all the rest. Well, speaking of the election period, and Rob, you did say that you're going to be breaking in on WALT programming with some election results throughout the evening tomorrow.
Throughout the evening tomorrow night, we're going to do it all stations. We're going to do it on the Buzz and the Legend, all of our Meridian Media Group stations, just breaking in with numbers as we get them. We'll obviously get some a lot earlier than some of the other ones, kind of in the outlying parts of the county, because it'll take them a little time to get those tabulations out there, and of course we'll get the official word from Donna Jill down at the courthouse tomorrow night. But it's going to be a busy night tomorrow night, and looking forward to it. And like I said, we'll break down all the races tomorrow morning. So
no, what time do you think that the results will be recorded, where we have an actual candidate?
Polls close at 7.
Well, here's the thing about it. What a lot of folks don't understand is you will start to see some numbers fairly early tomorrow night, and everybody's like, well, why is that if the polls just close at 7? Well, the way the process works is when they shut a polling place down at 7, they process the numbers real quick because it's all through that machine, and then they can post the numbers at each individual precinct, which the candidates or a representative of a candidate can get those numbers immediately, and they'll call back into their candidate or their camp or whatever and be like, hey, this is what we're getting at this particular precinct. There's 37 of those overall, so you might see some numbers come out earlier in some precincts rather than all of them, but of course I'm always the one I want to get that official document in my hand from Donna Jill.
So 7:15 or so, we're going to see some results coming.
You might see some,
a
few, but not many. But I would say by 8 o'clock, you're really going to start to see things really hopping pretty quick. So,
and just a reminder, folks, this is where your vote really, really counts because it's local. It's the margin between the results is not a bill. There's not a lot of votes there, like a national or even on the statewide level. Local elections is where your vote really, really counts.
And guys, there's 37 precincts in Lauderdale County overall. And, I was talking to some folks back on Friday about the absentee process. We've had a lot of folks, don't have the exact number. I hope I can get that for you here in just a second. But I want to say we had well over 600 absentee votes as of Friday, and that number probably climbed a little bit more over the weekend because Donna, Jill, and them were open on Saturday for some more of those Saturday hours for folks who wanted to vote absentee. And you can still vote absentee, obviously, but I think the biggest concern a lot of folks have had going into this process is there's certain races, and she mentioned this earlier. Well, I got my Democratic ballot. Where's the sheriff's race at? Because there is one sheriff candidate that is unopposed on the Democratic side. But they're like, well, I want to vote for either Ricky Roberts or Ward Calhoun. Where are they at? You've got to vote Republican if you're going to do that.
It's a Republican primary. It's a Democrat primary. And if you don't have a candidate in the Democrat primary and you want to vote in the sheriff's race, you have to get a Republican ballot.
And, of course, there's other races that are like that. You may get a Republican ballot because, I want to vote for the sheriff's race, but there may be something on the Democratic side you want to vote for. Well, guess what? You can't have both. You got to go one way or another during the primary.
And that's exactly right, because now if there's a runoff on the Democrat side and you vote on the Republican side,
can't vote.
You cannot vote in the Democrat.
Can't switch it up.
You can't switch parties in the runoff election, but you can when November comes.
Right.
Sure.
When November comes,
open.
You can vote any way you want to.
So be clear, when you go to vote tomorrow, it's like Donna Jill said, your name is in both those books. You are on the Democratic book and the Republican book. Now, whichever one you vote for tomorrow, like you said, if you go to runoff at the end of the month, guess what? You've got to go vote that way. Yeah, and it looks like, obviously, on the Republican side, you're going to have a runoff in District 1 court judge. You're going to have more than likely a runoff possibly in District 1 supervisor because there's 3 candidates there. It's going to be kind of tough to get a 50+1. And then, of course, you've got the coroner race.
Oh,
obviously.
the coroner race, right.
And we really need to look at
just have a race. with a physical race.
And I think that's what we're going to do tomorrow, because I know we focused a lot on the Republican side. And that's what we've been doing a lot here on the program. But we need to look at the Democratic side of things, too, because there are some big races on that side, too, because we've had one of those candidates for District 1 court judge on the program, Chick Johnson. So, but, it's going to be a big day tomorrow.
Mornings in Meridian. Let's take a phone call here. Good morning, caller. Welcome to our show.
Good morning, gentlemen. How are y'all doing today?
Hello, sir.
Good morning.
Morning.
Well, first off, you need to identify yourself well when you're out there doing the election campaign report.
I will, because we're going to have a beautiful mic flag courtesy of Graphics Guru.
Ooh. That's right.
Yeah, we're going to have our logo everywhere tomorrow night, Roger, because of Zane. How about that?
How about it? Thank you, Guru.
I need to go get that real quick.
Welcome.
Put it on the video
real quick. Who's going to be the
quick.
button monkey tomorrow?
Yours truly.
Okay.
Rob
Who
has
else we got in there?
Rob has to work all the buttons because he's got to run the board, and then also this video stuff that we're doing here.
A video.
That sounds like a lot of fun there.
Yeah. So
I was looking for. Oh, he put it in the drawer. I was looking for it over on the desk. I'm like, where'd it go?
Well, look at there.
There he is.
Look at there.
Isn't that thing cool?
Here's the
holding
mic.
it up right now.
So that goes into the stem of the mic, and okay, very good.
Sharp, isn't it?
That is nice.
Yeah. That's pretty good for coming in on Friday afternoon and saying, we need this quick.
I swung by Friday, and I was like, we need that done. He's like, yeah, I can get it to you Monday. And there it was.
Look at that.
Yeah.
How about that?
There it was, before 7 o'clock this morning.
I know. That is service right there.
That's right. So we want to remind the folks, Graphics Guru is also, if you see our great signage on the wall here, he's been able to put those up for us
now we did
years ago.
Pause right there. Pause the whole project.
Uh-oh.
Well, when Zane was...
pronounce the street name right.
Robush?
Robush.
Rubush Avenue.
Take out the Robush.
You're insulting the chief deputies of
Rubush.
Lauderdale County if you mispronounce that name.
Rubush. Go down to Rubush.
Charles Rubush Avenue, named after old Yankee carpetbagger that come down here.
Yeah, well, that's all right. We're glad you're set up somewhere, so that's good. At least we know you're there.
I will say this: if our owner is watching this morning on video, Zane did point out where I sit at right here. This wall needs something right here. As I brush my hand up against the wall, I think we need a graphic or something right there. What do you think?
Yeah,
it's kind of plain. It's kind of plain looking, right?
That's
like a pinup or something. What are you saying?
That would be
hey.
That would be where you put the information to Rob's GoFundMe account.
Does Rob have one of
there you
those?
go.
Yeah.
Hey, you know that that over Rogers Head, that is actually fabric up there, and it's removable. You can take it down, and you could actually, Rob, you could move that over take it down, move it over your head.
Yeah, but I kind of like it right there.
Y'all could argue with it back and forth.
All right.
Move it one day from the next.
Yeah.
Well, we voted for you. Just don't run anywhere. We voted for you for graphics signage here in our studio, and we appreciate that. But
I wanted to run for coroner, but I got there, and Donna Jill said, "There's no more trees left."
That's
to make
right.
paper with."
Out of paper. Sorry.
It's a job that'll kill you.
They continue. They just continue. This is good.
Never ends. Never will.
All right, good stuff. I vote for Graphics Guru for your graphics needs. He's on Rubush Avenue, and his number is 601-485-1400. 1400. Yeah.
That's it. 485-1400.
There you go.
Love it.
Appreciate you, sir.
You guys have a wonderful day. Take care.
All right, thank you. We also want you to vote for Tony Creel for all your sporting goods provisions. How's that?
Everything you need to get out there and enjoy the outdoors. Tony's Southern Sportsman has it. 1724 Front Street, right under the 18th Avenue overpass. Give him a call, 601-693-4111. Or better yet, go by and see him. Everything for hunting, fishing, camping, hiking, you name it, he's got it. And, of course, if you like archery, it's one of the fastest growing sports in the U.S. right now. He's got everything you need to get set up with that, even an archery range where you can fit the bow and tune the bow to your liking. And, of course, we're getting close to those seasons coming up. So get out there and get your supplies ready at Tony's Southern Sportsman, 1724 Front Street. He's open 8:30 to 5 Monday through Friday, and again on Saturday, 8:30 to 1.
All right, it's Mornings in Meridian. Another caller on the line. Good morning. Welcome to our show.
Morning, boys.
Morning.
How do?
Charles made a funny on the corner. Said that's a job that'll kill you.
Nah, I said that.
I think Rob did, yeah.
Somebody said it.
Rob did? Okay.
Yeah.
All right, missed call. My bad. Flag on me.
Penalty.
Back it up 15, replay second down.
Yep.
Good deal.
Well, I got another funny on the same job.
Please.
It's a dead-end job.
Oh, okay.
I don't know. The pay looks pretty good. There's a chuckle.
That was dead silence right there.
Oh, wow.
Maybe because it's the truth.
Yeah.
I like the dead
Anyway,
silence.
other than that, I had nothing.
Well,
Other than the weekend's news on the people with Trump. It just
Oh, man.
I'm
Continuing saga.
I'm absolutely amazed, and of course, the fact that Pennsylvania voted in Fetterman
yeah.
ought to show you just how bright those people are.
Mm-hmm.
That they literally think Trump's a boogeyman and Joe Biden and his family did nothing wrong. I mean, and they're Trumpsing out there all over the TV all weekend long going, Joe Biden, there's no evidence he didn't do anything wrong.
No evidence.
And
Wow.
Trump should not be allowed to defend himself. That's the other one. Anyway,
Isn't that crazy?
y'all may have talked about it already.
We
You
haven't
may
much.
not.
No, we've been focusing on our local politics, so no, we haven't. But I'm glad you made those
I
points.
heard that last segment.
Yeah. Well, thank you for that. We appreciate you, sir.
All right, y'all stay out of trouble, please.
I will. These
Do our
judges.
best. We know the judges.
Yeah,
though,
these judges are getting tough here. That's for sure.
That's right.
Guys, I tell you right now, there's it's the truth is out there. No, not all car dealers are created equal, and not all Toyota automobile dealers are created equal, because we know there's no deal like a Doc's deal.
That's right. Doc's Toyota right up the road in Philadelphia, Mississippi. go by and see them. They're on Highway 16 West. They've got all kinds of brand new 2023 inventory. They've got, of course, Camrys, Tacomas, 4Runners, Tundras, Highlanders, Corollas, you name it. Toyota makes it, and they've got it, and they've got plenty of them. They also have a huge selection of pre-owned inventory, and they've all been through the rigorous Toyota multi-point inspection process, so you know it's a good quality car. They've got all their inventory online at docstoyota.com, and so you can check it out there. And what's great about Docs is they will actually rent you a vehicle before you purchase, so you can rent that 4Runner, the Tacoma, the Highlander before you buy it, and make sure you love it. And then when you do, go see them at Docs, because there is no deal
like a Docs deal. There you go. Thank you, Doc, for letting us promote your business on our station. Let's take a phone call. Good morning. Welcome to Mornings in Meridian. Good morning.
Uh-oh. Yeah.
Yeah?
Just a big bright out there for Meridian. I was sitting at the Waffle House, and I was looking down on 22nd Avenue.
Yeah.
All that wasted land, all that wasted fairground land, everything. A lot of these progressive towns, the big thing nowadays, and Meridian don't have, is these huge $500,000, $1 million RV, big monster parks that they have. And it could be around out in Bonita, and they would go to all the shows, go to the little places that you have in Meridian, go to Tony Grills and buy their fishing equipment.
Yeah.
But Meridian needs to catch up with the rest of the towns around the state. Somebody needs to get in here, Meridian, to develop not these little drag around RVs that you got poor people in. I'm talking about the rich folks that got these big setups where you got your hookups and your power, your onshore power and all that.
Yeah.
So somebody out there is listening. Let's get it going. And let's bulldoze some of this wasted land behind the Waffle House or somewhere around that Bonita and get a big, nice RV with the rich people. We don't need poor.
Okay.
We need rich people.
All right. There you go.
Thank
All right. Appreciate you need some rich people stopping in here with their big RVs.
The big bucks.
That's it. All right. We're going to take a break. We'll be right back to pay a couple of bills. Stay with us.
Well, later on, tuna called soldiers.
Here we go to finish up our show. Roger, Rob, and Charles.
Yes, indeed.
Yep. Let's remind you, when these rain showers do come, they remind you might need to have a new roof. Find somebody who's ready to roof.
Well, Martin Roofing's always ready to roof. And, of course, they've been in business for over 30 years, locally owned and operated, licensed in the state of Mississippi, taking pride in standing behind their work from start through cleanup. You see their signs all over town, more signs than...
The corner!
All the corners combined, because everybody uses them.
Or anybody,
that's right.
really.
Mm-hmm. Doug Martin Jr., Doug Martin Sr. will answer your call at 601-485-5920. They're a member of the Better Business Bureau. They'll be glad to help with any of your roofing needs. They'll offer you a free estimate and inspect your roof for damage. Martin Roofing, been doing roofing right for over 30 years. They are trying to be your roofer, so vote for them tomorrow.
There you
or
go.
any day.
Doug and Doug, we'll see you all tomorrow. Have a great day.
Bye.